Good morning, people. We are live. I hope you're excited to be here. We're going to talk about Ken Cockeye Paxton's corruption and a few other things that are going on throughout the world. So let's get busy. Let's get to it. Good morning, everybody. So, Texas Paul, hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. I hope you're having a great cup of coffee this morning. I tell you what, we got to get into it. But before we talk about Ken Cockeye Paxton and get into the stuff that's going on with him, we've got to reach out to some of our people. There's some folks going through it. They really are. If you haven't ever seen images of southern France, it is absolutely stunning. This is on my bucket list. I want to see this. I want to see the tulips in Holland, but I want to see the lavender fields in southern France. But I want you to take a closer look at this picture. It is beautiful. It is. But you see the rocky terrain in between. Lavender likes it will deal with a rough, rocky soil. But look at the background. You'll notice southern France is when you ask people, hey, what do you think the weather in Europe is like? Everybody's, oh, well, it's cool there. They don't even have air conditioners, man. It's cooler. Not so much. Not so much in southern France. Southern France and Spain are both very, very, they're semi-arid to arid, man. I mean, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It is beautiful. It is stunning, but it is something you would more closely associate with, Arab states than you would Europe. I mean, it is very much semi-arid to arid. It is. So much so that they shot in the Andalusian region of Spain many of the famous spaghetti westerns that you thought were shot here in the United States definitely were not. I mean, you've got A Fistful of Dollars and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I want you to take a look at the background here. I mean, this is not what most people think of when they think of Europe. It's just not. It's still beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It is still beautiful. This is Spain. This is Andalusia, Spain. The Andalusia region of Spain. It is when they were shooting The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. You recognize Clint Eastwood and the other actors there. But yeah, it is hot and it is dry. And this is way back in the 60s, the 1960s, 80 years ago, man. I mean, pardon me, 60 years ago, 80 years ago. Whew, man. This region is not dealing well with global warming. I mean, they're like, south in south central Texas. It was hot to begin with. It just scorching hot to begin with. It is incredibly dry, incredibly hot, and fires have broken out all over the region. And we just need, if you're a believer, if you're a Christian, or if you're a Muslim, or you're whatever your particular religious spice is, and you're a believer and you pray, you need to be praying for these folks. So far, we've got over 300,000 people have had to flee their homes in Spain and southern France. This is a NASA view of the fires that they're dealing with. Global warming is real, people. It is real, and it has real consequences. This is ugly. I mean, these fires are something else. And I want you to take a look at this in Penhow, 47 degrees Celsius. For you Americans, that's 116, 117 degrees. Yeah, it is freaking hot. And these firefighters are out there fighting these fires in those conditions. The people are fleeing their homes. This is a disaster. I mean, a disaster. So please, pretty please, if you got a nickel that you can spare, you're going to have World Central Kitchen will be setting up to help these people. It's yes, first world countries. They are, but people are still going to need our help. They are. They're still going to need our help. So keep them in mind. Pretty please. Pretty please. It is rough. We've had some other events going on, and I've never understood this hate. I've never understood this hate. I just never have. We had a pride parade in Germany, and a psychopath fed by religious extremism, reason number 1989 that old Texas Paul has formed his own religion is shit like this. Germany says fatal Berlin pride attack believed to be an act of Islamic extremist terrorism. I will tell you, it has less to do with Islamic extremism and more to do with the age of the attacker. It does. Young men, this is Abdul Ballout. He is currently on the run. He drove his van into a crowd of peaceful marchers, got out and stabbed several people, and then ran and got away. They're trying to track him down right now. He's Lebanese born, as they're very eager to tell you it's because he's Muslim. I will tell you it is more to do with he is a young man than anything. I have, we've got to talk about this. We do. The homophobia, the misogyny, it finds its home with young men and boys. It does. And it has to do with the fact that they're so fragile. They're brought up in this, this thing that we men do, this constant, and it's difficult to explain. Women y'all see it with your Mean Girls and stuff like that. Y'all have your own version of it, but with men, it is a constant belittling. I mean, when you're young, being called gay is one of the most defiling, defacing things that a young man can face. That ridicule, it's emasculating, and that is one of the worst things that can happen to a young man in his fragile psyche. It's stupid. It is stupid. It's idiotic. But it has to do with their lack of confidence in who they are, and they're trying to move their wits. An old man like me don't give a shit what you think. We just don't. We don't give a shit what you think. Because we're confident in ourselves. We know who we are. We know what we are. We know we will garner the respect based on who we are and what we do. Young men, not so much. Young men are fragile, scared little things. They're terrified of being emasculated. Whether it be, by other men questioning their masculinity, or, girls turning them down or whatever. They're terrified of it because their entire self-image is based on, how much of a man they are. And they have no idea what being a man means at that age. None of us did. We were all fucking idiots when we were kids. I don't care if you'll admit it or not. We all knew yeah, we were all such idiots that we can still remember the people, the very small handful of people that were with us in high school and college, early college. We can still remember the small handful of people that had their shit wired straight. I bet you can bring their faces up in your mind right now, no matter how old you are. I mean, you ever thought about that? That's how stupid we all were at that age. That we could still, to this day, remember the few people that we went to school with that had their shit wired straight. And no, I'm not talking about popular, or I'm talking about, that kid that actually studied, that kid that, actually excelled in school, that kid that actually, you can still remember that kid. That's how rare they were. We were all dumbasses. And that's what happened to this kid. And that is where I'm going somewhere with this. Stick with me. The most evil among us, and that includes you fuckers in the churches, the most evil among us are keenly aware of how impressionable and weak young men are, how afraid of being emasculated young men are, and how easily manipulated they are using that fear. And the most evil, whether you're talking about the Tate brothers and their toxic masculinity, the Republicans and their toxic masculinity, or you're talking about hate groups, or the evil people that exist in churches and mosques and synagogues and temples, whatever your flavor of religion happens to be, there are those people in those organizations, and you damn well know it. They take advantage of these young men. And if you don't think of that's a thing, talk to a drill sergeant. They will tell you they have perfected it to a science. They know how motivating it is to a young man to question their virility, their manhood. They've got it down to a science. And there are those among us who use it for evil, and goddamn you people to hell. You are the only people on earth that make me wish hell was actually real. You make me wish that place was waiting for you. You do. Because people are out there. It was a pride parade, man. It was a bunch of people supporting other people, making them feel okay in who they are. That's all it was, man. That's all it was. And some old worthless bastard took this kid and manipulated him and filled him with hate, turned him into a weapon as sure as you have missiles on this earth. They turned this kid into a human missile, pointed him at our LGBTQI brothers and sisters, and turned him loose. And while I want to see this sick bastard taken off the streets and in prison, I want that motherfucker that was in his mosque that made this kid, or in his home that made this kid what he is. I want to see that motherfucker in prison for the rest of his life. It is beyond time that we stopped putting up with this shit. It's not okay. You raise your kid to treat people as subhuman or with violence, you should damn well be responsible for that violence. Period. Period. It is well beyond time. It is well beyond time we started making people responsible for what they create. Now, I'm not talking about somebody from a household where you got a kid that went to school and ended up on a football team that had a coach that preached toxic masculinity, and you didn't raise your kid that way. No, I'm not talking about that parent. But that coach should be held responsible. It's about time we did real investigations into this. They find out during the course of these investigations, but the investigations stop. Well, yeah, the coach did it, the pastor did it, the imam did it, and then it stops. That should open a door to another investigation. How many more did they create? We should be talking to young men in their church, in their mosque, in their school, and find out how many more did they create. It is beyond time. It is beyond time that we started holding these people accountable for what they make. It just is. It just is. And I will tell you, we are going the wrong direction on this. We're going the wrong direction. And I approve for you right now. Right now. If you hold an event for anything, I don't care what it is, and 40,000 people show up, you'll get national media attention. You will. You'll get national media attention. If you hold an event, I don't care if it is the celebration of sourdough bread. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a fair. I don't care. You get 100,000 people to show up, you'll make international news. You will. You will. The Christmas market in Berlin every year gets a write-up in the international news because it's visited by 1 million or more people every year. It's just a fact. If you can get enough people to show up to something, it'll make international news. Unless you're supporting transgender people, then you can get 150,000 people to show up in London, and it will not make international news. Barely got a mention by the BBC. 150,000 people just showed up yesterday in support of transgender people in London. And there is nothing in the American media. I'm not talking about page 12 stories. I'm talking nothing. We are going the wrong way with this. We are letting these bigot bastards win. We're letting them affect us. And that's got to stop. It's got to stop. It really does. It's got to stop. People are people. People are just people. And people that put up with a bunch of shit and a bunch of abuse should not have to deal with this. They just shouldn't. They just shouldn't. We should be able to say, hey, you know what? Leave my brothers and sisters alone. No matter who those brothers and sisters are. Anyways, rant over. God damn, I hope your coffee's good this morning. Woo, mine is smoking. Hoo-ah. Let's get to work. This just happened. I promise you, we're going to get to Cockeye. We're going to get to Cockeye Paxton. We are. But this just happened. And I want you to be aware of it. E.T., where you at, my brother? Where you at, brother? E.T., in the chat. Every day, puts out a quote every day. Every single day, he puts out a quote to remind you to check your voter registration, remind you that we're only weeks away from the election, to be aware of your voting dates, but more clearly, check your registration. This election, more than any, you must check your registration. This just happened in Alaska. Now, I've told you, people are like, oh, they're not going to let us vote. They're not. I keep telling you, this is proof you are going to vote. If you weren't going to vote, they wouldn't be cheating. They wouldn't be working so hard to keep you from voting. If you weren't going to vote, you're going to vote. We have to hold this vote or there's no legitimacy for the government. We are going to vote, but they are going to cheat. They are going to cheat. Alaska removes thousands from state's active voter list, erroneously flagging some citizens. This is being wildly misrepresented as something it is not. I want to clear it up. Let's talk about what it is, what happened. Yes, it is cheating. But what the state of Alaska did is not that, not what that headline said. They did not remove people from the voter list. They did not. They started the process of it. And that is the most important part. You must know that if you're in Alaska and you're a voter, look, I support democracy. I know Alaska is full of fucking red voters. I know it. I know it. So why am I worried about voters in Alaska? Democracy, man. We either have it or we don't. Because if we don't, we got to kill each other to change things. And that's not what I want. I want to be able to vote to change things. What they did, now, so just so you know, Alaska has motor voter. Okay. You can click a box that asks you when you get your driver's license, do you want to be registered to vote? Now, notice that doesn't say click this box and you will be registered to vote, because that is not what that means. That's not how motor voter works in Alaska. It says, would you like to be registered to vote? And a lot of people click that box. Then Alaska will start the process of registering someone to vote. See, that voter registration and the permanent dividend fund that is paid out in Alaska, they're kind of tied together. These systems are tied together. So nothing is automatic. Everything has to be confirmed via documentation. Now, what the Republicans are going to do is say, oh, we showed people that shouldn't have been allowed to vote. See, illegals are voting. That's a lie. That is a lie. They're not even getting registered. There are people every year, it's usually about 3,000 people a year in Alaska, that click that box that are not eligible to vote. How do we know that? Because the next step is the DMV checks your eligibility to be registered before it even starts the process of registering you. And they have about 3,000 people a year that don't meet the criteria, that click that box. A lot of them are people that are going through the naturalization process. You may not be aware of this, but Alaska, of all states, has a ton of immigrants. Here's why. The industries that are the largest in Alaska are labor intensive. And because it's Alaska, that labor is ugly. I mean, hard, dog ass hard work. I love you people. I love you people. Oil and fisheries. That's right. That's right. Both of those jobs anywhere are a young man's game. They are. Fisheries and oil field work are young men's game anywhere you go. In Alaska, oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. It is remote. The work is dangerous, extremely dangerous. It is a whole nother cold, rainy. I went to Alaska in August and it was in the 30s. I shit you not. It was in the 30s. I looked like a bear's butthole. I had so many layers of clothes on, and it was raining and 34 degrees. Wind was blowing. I'm telling you, I've been there. It is something, man. It is remote as hell. So when you got a job that is labor intensive and on top of it dangerous, and on top of it even more so because Alaska, you're going to get a lot of immigrants. You are. Because a lot of Americans don't want to do that job. They don't. So Alaska, believe it or not, is a state that has a lot of immigrants. They do. They're also a state that pays out a dividend to its residents as part of their. It is in their constitution. It's like 25% of the oil revenues must be paid out to the state, and the state takes in the revenue as principals. Then they turn around and invest it, and they pay each citizen a dividend. That is the permanent dividend fund. So yeah, they take naturalization very seriously in Alaska. They do. So what happened in Alaska with this? Land this plane, Paul. What happened? Okay. The Republicans demanded data that they knew was old data. I'm talking 6 years old. And questioned the citizenship of everybody that was flagged as not eligible to vote that ticked that box, so that they could run to a camera and say, oh, look, they're voting. They're not voting. They weren't even registered to vote. The reason you know their names is because they were kicked out of the system because they weren't eligible to register. They just inquired about registering to vote. That's what that box is. It is not voter registration. It is an inquiry to start the process to check your eligibility to whether or not you can register to vote. Now, what happened? Because it's a state that has tons of naturalization happening every day because of the massive amount of immigrants, because of what we talked about. Well, a lot of those people 6 years ago were not eligible to vote are absolutely eligible to vote today. And there was over 3,400 people that have been sent letters. And this is where it gets shady as fuck. Caging is a thing. If you don't know what caging is, really easy to understand. The Republicans do this fucking constantly. They have law firms on retainer that they pay to engage in caging. And what caging is in most red states, to challenge your voter registration, all they have to do is send you a letter, not even as a member of the state or the government or anybody, just send you a letter that says, hey, do you still live at this address? And are you not a criminal? Are you anyway disqualified from voting? If you don't answer this bullshit letter that shows up, they take that non-answer. Yes, it's often just a postcard. You know how often you throw postcards away, political postcards, and they don't make them look official at all. They make them look like junk mail, so you will throw the shit away. When you do not respond to their letter, in many red states, that's it. That's all they need. They take that list of people that did not respond and say, none of these people, we don't believe any of these people are legal to vote. You must remove them from the rolls until you can confirm, state of Texas or Alaska that they are eligible to vote. It's called caging. That's why so many people show up to the polls in red states and they're like, what do you mean? I voted last year. I didn't remove my voter registration. Why am I not registered to vote? Because of caging. That's what this is in Alaska. 3,400 people that are absolutely legal, absolutely followed the law, did everything they were supposed to do, have been removed from the voter rolls. Actually petitioned to be removed from the voter rolls. Not removed. Just be clear here, accuracy is important. They've been petitioned to be removed from the voter rolls, where they have been sent a letter where you must now produce documentation to the state. Now, Republicans love that. Make people produce documentation. Do it, because they'll lose a percentage. They know it. They know it. They'll knock a percentage off that just, they won't get the letter. How many times have you not gotten a letter? Somebody says, hey, we sent you a letter and you didn't get it. Well, it got chewed up in a mail sorting machine, so it got kicked back to the original sender. You never got the damn letter. They know that happens. They know they make them look like junk mail. So a lot of people got this letter and threw it away. Didn't even bother with it. Then they show up to vote and, oh, you're not registered to vote. They know what they're doing. They know they went for old data on purpose so that they could cast the widest freaking net possible. And they intentionally targeted people that have naturalized, because they know right now those people are very anti-Republican because they've seen everything that's going on with ICE. They no longer feel safe. They no longer feel like, hey, I followed the rules, I'm fine. You know that delusion they had in the last elections? How many people have you seen sobbing on social media because it wasn't supposed to be me? My husband got deported. He did everything right. My wife got deported. The leopard's eating my face. Yeah, that's over. And they know. This is state-sanctioned caging that is going on in Alaska. And they know it. We know it. Everybody knows it. It's written into the law that they can do it because Republicans want to. And why? Why go to the trouble? Because elections are decided usually, I keep telling you this, 1 or 2 points. That's it. 5 points is a blowout. Think about it. If you can get rid of just 1% of the people that aren't going to vote for you in this, oh, worth it. Totally. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. And they know it. So what's the answer? We have to be vigilant. I keep telling you, you're not the stupid. You're the smart ones. You're the ones that control the messaging. Show them on your social media. Alaska did this. You must check your voter registration. You've got to do it. It's part of our job. It's part of our job. And if you don't do it, if you don't get involved, if you don't do the things like check your voter registration and you don't vote, what's going to happen? Ladies, I've told you this. I've told you this before. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to what they're saying. They're going to take the right to vote away. They're going to take your right to vote away first. They're going to take your financial freedom away. We're going to go back to what like it was in the 1970s, where you can't even get a credit card without your husband's signature. They're telling you out in the open, only the man in the family should be allowed to vote. They're telling you, if you'll just fucking listen to them, don't take my word for it. Don't make this like Roe v. Wade. Don't make this like Roe v. Wade. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't fall for it again. Or you get some Republicans saying, oh, that's just hyperbole. It's settled case law. How many times did you hear that about Roe v. Wade? It's settled case law. They're telling you they're going to do it. They want to take your right to divorce away. They're telling you. They're telling you they want to do it. Listen to them. Listen to them. Just listen to what they're saying. It's your job to get out there to make sure people are motivated to vote Democrat. They're excited to vote Democrat. They're prepared to turn out. You got to do it, people. You got to do it. And don't take my word for it. You've got, there's some local journalistic outfits up there in Alaska that are doing the interviews, and they're going out, they're finding these people, based on interviews with affected people. The records flagged by the DMV appear to include Alaskans who obtained driver's licenses as non-citizens, then became citizens registered to vote, but have not received a new driver's license since becoming a citizen, because you don't need to get a license but every 6 years. Why do you think they went back 6 years? So they could catch people that had, as many people as possible, that had not gotten new licenses yet. That is why. They know they're in trouble. They know they are in trouble. And how do you know they know they're in trouble? Just look around at what's happening. Watch what people do. Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. Watch what they do. Y'all remember this? During the last election, way too many young people, young white men particularly, young people, drifted to the Republican Party. They did. They fell for a lot of that talk, that negative talk that came from our own party, people that pretended to be on the left about, it was all Gaza. It was all, you would have thought the Democrats invaded Gaza. You would have thought Joe Biden led the United States Army made up solely of Democrats and invaded Gaza, by the way these people talked. And it drove young people out of the party at record numbers. So the entertainers chased them. They chased them. You had people like Katy Perry sucking up to Jeff Bezos, throwing their right-wing chops out there. Man, Jeff Bezos' wife just looks weird. She's the one on the left. She just looks weird, man. That freaks me out. Every time I see her, I'm thinking? Look at her face. Look at her face. Now, paint it white and paint those lips bright red. Tell me that is not the fucking Joker right there. Tell me that is not the Joker in disguise right there. Whew. I'm telling you. But y'all remember that happening. A lot of people were very disappointed in Katy Perry. Well, Katy Perry is trying to put the shit back in the horse because the Trump regime has been using her music on their websites, the White House TikTok account. I keep telling you about Cletus and the rockets, red glare, bombs bursting in air, all the shit. They've been trying to do that. They've been putting, the White House has a TikTok account where they're showing shit blowing up. And in the background track, they're using Katy Perry's music, specifically her song Firework. And Katie's like, nope. You people are incredibly unpopular. This war is incredibly unpopular, and I don't want my name associated with you people and with the rest of the rats that went and sucked up to these right-wing MAGA pieces of shit. They are jumping off the ship. When things are going well, that doesn't happen. Don't listen to what people say. Watch what they do. And the rats, they be a fleeing. That tells you what is going on. The Republicans know this. They are going to cheat. But the very fact that they are trying so hard to cheat should put to bed that, oh, they're not going to let us, but they're not going to. I still, to this day, will get at least one or two people with every post I put up encouraging people to vote, to be a ride or die Democrat, to do what you need to do to get involved with the party locally. I will get one or two people. They're not going to let us vote. If we weren't going to vote, they wouldn't be working so hard to keep you from voting. It's that simple. It's that simple. But folks, I'm telling them, I am telling you, we have got to stay motivated. We have got to stay motivated. You've got the Republicans, they're running this anti-Tallarico stuff. Yeah, just had another Republican the other day that forgot to go to his burner account. White idiot Republican grifter influencer forgot to go to his burner account and posted that he was a very upset black person that thinks that Tallarico is not doing enough to appeal to people like him. You know, the total white guy that was pretending to a black person, to be a black person. Yeah, that's happening, folks. It's happening. It's happening. They are trying to dig their fingernails into any way they can to try to get us to talk about shit like that instead of shit like this. Ken Paxton just answered a few questions. It did not go well. It did not go well. There's a reason. There's video after video after video after video of Trump, I should say, Ken Paxton, Cockeye Paxton, running from reporters, will not answer questions. He's got a lot to answer for. But folks, I'm telling you, he is not good in a debate. There's a reason he never debates his opponents. There's a reason he never debates his opponents. He is terrible in front of a camera. He is a piss poor speaker, and it showed. He just did this yesterday, answered a few questions, and the Republicans went, oh, this is not good. This is not good. Because he couldn't answer questions. He wouldn't answer questions. He just got hammered, one question after another, and he just fumbled and tried to come up with talking points that were stupid and unrelated. And Republicans, I shit you not, they're the ones sounding the alarm on this. They're in full freakout mode. If you don't know, some of the things that have been going on with Ken Paxton are, he is railed. He's been, licking Trump's taint on the voter fraud thing. They think that's going to take them to Valhalla, this whole voter fraud thing. Well, the problem is Paxton committed voter fraud. He himself committed voter fraud. See, he's going through a divorce with his wife, Angela. One second. He's going through a divorce with his wife, Angela, and they really can't seem to come to an agreement. And it's getting ugly. It is getting really ugly. And he doesn't live with her. But he's been voting like he lives with her. That's voter fraud. It's out in the open. It's a matter of record. He voted where he does not live. He never updated his address, never changed his voter registration. He just went and voted like he was still married, still living with his wife. He is not. He is separated from his wife. He does not live there. That is voter fraud. That is just plain textbook voter fraud. The guy that is screaming, they're committing voter fraud, and can't prove it, can't give you just gave us a perfect example of voter fraud. That is the kind of thing, the kind of rake stepping that is the Ken Paxton campaign. And Republicans are in a sheer panic about it, but it hasn't even yet begun. It has not even yet begun. Y'all have all seen these videos. I'll just play one of them for you. Ken Paxton is married. He is not divorced. Not yet. This woman, it is also reported, is also still married. Not to Ken Paxton.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
They paraded all around London, all around. You've seen these videos. Mr. Family Values is not even divorced, and he's out traveling with his hooker. What are you going to do? You know, what are you going to do? That's his campaign. Mr. Family Values and Voter Fraud is committing voter fraud and traveling around with his hooker. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. Great start to the campaign, but he has not even begun to step on the rakes yet. Welcome to the big time, Kenny boy. Welcome to the big time. Welcome to a statewide campaign for a national office. Welcome. This is no longer Texas backroom bullshit that you Republicans pull. It is going to get very, very ugly for you. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it, Cockeye. People are starting to ask the question is, how the hell does a guy whose largest salary since he's been in government was $150,000 a year own a $9 million real estate portfolio? And that's just the real estate, people. That's just the real estate. How does a guy whose biggest government salary ever was $150,000 a year living in a home that ate up a large part of that salary? I mean, he was living large, man. I'm talking really nice Tahoes. I'm talking really nice luxury house. I'm talking, the real deal. Old Kenny boy's been, living large. He and Angela, Cockeye and Angela were living high on that hog, man. They really were. And all he made was $150K a year, and she was just a state rep that don't make shit in this state. How? How did you build a $9 million 15 property real estate portfolio on $150K a year? How did you do it? How did you do it? Well, here's the latest. Here's the latest. Let me show you. This is the Black Desert Resort. Let me show you where it's at. Really interesting where it's at. It's in Utah. It's in Utah. You see Washington and St. George, Utah. This is the Black Desert Resort. I'll show you the Black Desert Resort here in just a minute. Just interestingly, in some previous shows that we've done, Washington, right here, and St. George, we've talked about before. See how good your memory is. Who was from the Washington, St. George area that made really big news several months ago, last year? Tyler Robinson, the guy that shot Charlie Kirk, is from this area. Then we just did a show talking about Colorado City and their corrupt police department. It's also right in this area. This is the region we're talking about in Utah, southern Utah. Well, old Kenny boy just bought 3 condos at the Black Desert Resort. This is the Black Desert Resort, folks. And let me start it over for you. When you go to blackdesertresort.com, this is what you see. It looks like one of Kenny's cars there, doesn't it? Oh, Cockeye's, one of Cockeye's vehicles. Nice place, huh? Nice place. Studio condo. $700 plus $1,000. 2-bedroom costs you about a cool $1 million. Yeah. Kenny Cockeye Paxton. Oh, Cockeye just bought 3. And keep in mind, this is one deal in one type of investment. This is the interesting part. Oh, Kenny got a hell of a discount. Now, you folks that are familiar with real estate, help me out here. What is the typical discount? I mean, if you're a good negotiator and you see a house listed in a hot market, typically, and we'll say it's not a market so hot that people are paying above value. No, we'll say it's just a moderately hot market. We'll say, what's a typical? Which this is not. This is a hot market, by the way. What is the typical amount you can negotiate off an asking price? I'll wait. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. You people that are familiar with real estate, how much can you usually knock off? Let's see, y'all get it. Maybe 5%, maybe 10% if you're lucky. Maybe. If you're really good, well, but I tell you, old Kenny boy must be a really, 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 really good negotiator, because that studio unit he bought that normally goes for $700, he bought it for $550. Usually goes for $750. And the 2-bedroom unit that usually goes for the units that usually go for $1 million, he bought for $700. That's a 25 to 30% discount. That's odd. That's odd, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say that's a little peculiar? That a politician would be able to knock 25 to 30% off? All right, there are other units listed there for that. Yeah. Seems like something somebody might want to take a look at. And as Billy Mays said, but wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. So we have already established that Ken Paxton is either one of the luckiest or greatest investors of all time, or there's something really fucking weird going on with these deals. Because that's a 25 to 30% discount. And this stuff's all coming out because he and Angela are now fighting it out. Oh, Cockeye's greedy. He didn't want to give shit up. And Angela's pissed. He humiliated her. If you remember, his hooker, he moved her from San Antonio to Austin so he didn't have to drive to San Antonio to bang his hooker. Yeah. Yeah. He humiliated her publicly. And she's going for it. She's going for the assets. So it's all coming out in the divorce. It's all coming out in the divorce. But wait, there's more. There's more. I want to introduce you to a little, because where the hell did he get the money to buy these? $150K a year. Come on, man. Come on. $150K a year. You're paying for a really super fucking nice house in Austin, which is not cheap. Not cheap at all. You've got luxury vehicles on $150K a year. Okay, let's say you're spinning yourself into broke. You can afford that. Where did you come up with the cash to buy this kind of real estate, even at a discount? Where did you, this is a couple $1 million in condos right there. And that's one deal. That's one. Where did you get that money? I can give you an idea where it came from. I can give you an idea where you came from. You're not going to believe this shit. You are not going to believe this shit. Before I get into that part, let's catch up on some of the comments. I'm way behind on the comments. I do apologize. Rich Lawton, thank you. Thank you for gifting the memberships. I'm truly grateful. Glad you're always here, brother. Sharon Butler, thank you for always being so generous. Thank you for always being here. Pu Ying, welcome. Welcome. Glad to see the new members. Mike Daly, the Dim. Good morning, brother. Enjoyed your deep dive into the AI bubble the other day. Another corrupt Republican candidate, Ramaswamy, is trying to bring the data center shit in Ohio. Voting, acting blue. There you go. There you go, my man. Keep it busy. Keep it working. Randy Ryder, thank you. Out with the big guns. And now Daniel Siad is dead. Pattern. Yes, we've got people that are investigating things. We're going to talk about this. There's actually been two people that have been investigating that have just died. One was shot to death in public. Yeah, we're going to talk more about that. Not on this show, probably on Wednesdays or Fridays. I want to get more information coming out in the investigations. Harold Puttinson, thank you for supporting the show. I'm truly grateful. Thank you. Mr. Knudsen, Spaghetti Fun, the Trinity movies with Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill, the most lovable stupidity on film. Real bonding with my father in my youth. I'm glad, my friend. I'm glad. Thank you. That's Mr. Knudsen's from the beautiful nation of Norway. If you want to see something, I don't mean to go off on a tangent. I'm telling you, take a minute after the show, or just sometime when you're bored. If you're in the United States, Google Norway and go to the images. Asbjorn lives in one of the most beautiful, the landscape. Some of it is so incredibly stark, but it is just stunning. It is stunning. And the valleys in the summer, just Google it. Trust me. Chandra Patton. Chandra, thank you for always being here. Thank you for always being here, my friend. Barry Eisenberg, you're reading my life history. I'm telling you, Mr. Knudsen, I'm 50 years old and don't want to be young, stupid, and afraid of my own shadow and girls. I'm so happy to be old and gray. To me, 70 looks young now. You know, man, I'm telling you, I've asked people over and over and over again. You can't go back knowing what you know now. You got to go back and be as stupid as you were then. Would you go back and be young again? And people like me with no cartilage in their knees, they wake up in the morning, they're hurting, they got to pee 5 times a night. To the last person says, no damn way. No damn. Young people, we love you. We do. We love you. We think you're fantastic. We really do. We really do. No way in hell we would trade places with you. No. Being old and intelligent and confident and knowing shit is worth way more. And the sex is better, by the way. Skeet Sayre. They knew they could use blacks officially, so it became hatred toward the gay community. Yep. Amen, brother. Yell it for the people in the back. E.T., thank you for always being here, brother. The thing is, he and others are refugees because things done by people like Bibi. We need to work to be better, and it is hard work, lifelong. He's Lebanese. He is Lebanese. And I am telling you, there is some piece of shit somewhere that we need to find that made this kid. Mark Rosenberger, thanks for all you do. Ride or die, my friend. Ride or die. Arizona, Texas Paul, love this old guy. Oh, thank you. E.T., it is less than 15 weeks until the general election. Verify your voter registration multiple times over the next few weeks. And deadline dates, know your early voting dates, get involved. Folks, we got a lot of people that are knowledgeable here. Go ahead and post it up in the comments. Tell people how to verify that. You can either go through the state and they're like vote.org. There are places to check your voter registration, but check it. Be up on it. Bruce Barrows, I saw a comment from someone who said that if Abdul wins the primary, he won't vote in November. Can't let Republicans flip the state. No, we cannot. Ride or die, baby. Whoever wins the primaries, we got to get behind them. E.T. and the candidates in Alaska oftentimes need to fly to where the voters are to meet with them. It costs money. Send your support now. Get involved. Amen. Steve Pift. House Republicans slipped much of the SAVE Act in the reconciliation bill. They're trying every way they can to keep people from voting. Netta Dahl, to me, it seems like the United States needs a new system, a whole new one. It should be easy to vote. Yes, it should. It's easier to vote in India than it is in the United States. Yep. India has more freedom and democracy than the United States. E.T., beware of blue bots. Yes, very much so. Michael Antonsu, gifted one. Thank you for being so generous, Mike. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Maria Rothstein, welcome. Glad to see you here. Glad to see all the new members. Donna DeJoy, yep, Collin County suspended my voter registration due to a typo on their part. Paxton, also in Collin County, they haven't done anything about it. I did fix my registration, but sure to check yours. Also got my ride or die pin. All right. Glad to see it. And keep after your registrations, people. They're really going to cheat. They're going to cheat. Another way that they're going to cheat, I want you to be prepared for this, is like they have ballot initiatives. They do this here in Texas all the time. They'll come up with a dozen stupid fucking initiatives. Texans love sunshine. Do you agree that we should have a proclamation in the Constitution that says Texans love sunshine? Just one more thing you got to vote on, so that every person that votes can't vote in 30 seconds to a minute. No, it takes them 3 minutes to go through all these ballot initiatives. Why? Because if it takes each person 3 minutes to vote, the lines are longer, less people can vote. They don't put enough voting machines in Democratic districts. That's normal here in Texas. They will not put enough voting machines in Democratic areas so that the lines stay long. This is the way they cheat, folks. This is what they do. Diane Bree Garage. Hey, Paul, here with you always. But we can still win. It just means we have to be us. We're the people that don't mind doing the work. Slap your mama. Love that you dig deep. So many pods don't pull on the threads of a story like you do. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's what we do here. Crafty Ass Gardner, thank you for gifting the memberships. Thank you. Thank you for being so generous. Suncatch. I mean that. I mean that, people. I can't do this without you. I can't. I could never spend the amount of time. I've got to keep eye drops here because my eyes are permanently bloodshot because I read so much. Every show I got to pop in the eye drops so that my eyes aren't like bloodshot red because I read so much, but I could never do that without your support. I would have to be hustling like it, and you people make it possible. I'm incredibly grateful for that. Not just because I, want to be doing this. What I want to be doing is woodworking, fishing, and playing my guitar. That's what I want to be doing. That's what I envisioned at this point in my life to be. But yeah, this needs to be done. And you people allow me to do it. I'm incredibly grateful. For my kids, my grandkids, being able to fight this fight is everything. Thank you. ET, how much is paid by Paxton donors? Get involved. Yep. New West Bill. Thank you for always being here, Bill. Thank you. Mr. Knutson. Asbjorn Knutson. It's not odd to get a discount / bribe if you buy it from someone who needs a favor from someone who can hand out a lucrative contract. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. Skeet Sayre, just like Farage in Britain, the right wing defined the love of money as the root of all evil. Yep. Bill, creative financing in the extreme. Yep. Allegra, Abbott already gave Trump our voter rolls. Don't trust the online Texas DMV when changing address. It doesn't go through. Contact the registrar's office. Always follow up on your voter paperwork. It is the most important thing you can do. Skeet Sayre, did you hear about the prosecutor in Ecuador looking into boat murders? He was shot dead. Yeah, that's one of the ones we're going to talk about. This man was shot in the street. He was doing investigations on these extrajudicial attacks that we've been engaging in on these boats, and he had garnered video footage. He had pulled all the information together and made a public announcement that this was murder, and I can prove it. Then he got in his car, and he was killed in a hail of bullets. Yeah, that happened. Kyra loves Michael. Gifted 5 Texas members. Kyra, always good to see you here. Give Michael a big hug for us. It's Sunday. He should be here. Michael, are you here? Emery Yurtis. I'm going to go with Yurtis. Did I get it right? Ortas. Emery Artas. That's what I'm going to go with. Didn't Ken Paxton sue to throw out our votes in 2020 on the basis of non-existent fraud? Now he is committing it. He is unfit. Forgive me. He is unfit. Yes, he is. I need a sip. Woo. Folks, getting hoarse. Hold on. That is the best thing on a throat, I'm telling you. We blaze through a pot of coffee in like the first 30 minutes of the show. Then Mrs. Texas Paul makes another pot of coffee, and I get hot coffee. I'm such a lucky man. I am such a lucky man. She takes such good care of me. He is unfit to be a senator. He is. Skeet Sayre, one of the worst things the IDF did was Beirut. I'm telling you, this is all coming home to roost. I've been screaming about this for decades, people. Paulette Tansel, thank you for gifting the memberships. Thank you. Kathleen Blaze, had to miss you for a few minutes, just early voted in Michigan. All right. Petrazi, glad to see all the members here. 4 months. Salute. Michael X Arsentalis. Why do Texans love these non-Texan politicians like Paxton? I don't know. California Paxton? I don't know. I do not know. I do not know. I do. I do know. Because he tells people that they're superior, that he tells them that their hate is justified, and he hurts all the people that his voters want him to hurt. That's what it is. That's what it is. Mr. Knudsen, thanks for gifting the memberships. Amy in the house. Glad to see you. Go to your county elections website. Most reliable. Smaller counties don't update the national sites as often. True that. Just a couple more. We're going to get back to work. Skeet Sayer. It might be safer to send your vote through UPS or FedEx. Do not trust UPS. Use the exact system they provide you with your ballot. Do not use another system. If it's a UPS, if it's a USPS envelope, you use that envelope. Lewis, 1948. What do you think about the Wisconsin Democratic governor's race? They're trying to promote dim socialists, assuming she will I don't know what that means. Do you think about the Democratic governor primary candidates? We are going to be ride or die. It does not matter. It does not matter who wins the primaries. You fight it. That's what it is. That's what it is. You fight it out in the primaries. That's where we fight it out. And if a Democratic candidate that is a stark raving socialist wins, that's who we support. That's who we support. We walk in that booth and we pull the lever. There are very few exceptions to that rule. If by some way, a Republican sneaks through to act as a Democrat, that West Virginia pervert that we talked about in the last show that ran as a Democrat and then switched parties, you ain't got to support a guy like that. No, of course not. Of course not. But just because another candidate might be, hey, we want somebody that's more progressive or more conservative or whatever, that's not how we fix that. We support our candidates. We do. And then we raise hell and make sure they hear us. You don't give up on your values. You don't give up on what you believe just because the election's over. No. I always use I saw somebody today said that President Obama ran as a progressive, but then wasn't progressive enough and lost support, and that's why he lost in the midterm. No, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. All parties that win the presidency take a shellacking in the midterms. It's what happens. It's a recoil vote. It happens every time. That's what they're terrified of with these midterms. It's going to happen to the Republicans too. That's one of the reasons they're so terrified. No, Obama didn't run as a progressive. He ran as a religious conservative. Our LGBTQI plus brothers held their nose and voted for him anyways, even though he treated them as second-class citizens and said they will know marriage is for a man and a woman. President Obama said that. And people are saying, he ran as a progressive, but not progressive, trying to justify their own desires for this election. We cannot rewrite history, folks, because living in fantasy doesn't fucking help. It just doesn't. President Obama ran as a religious conservative. He did. Gail Barnell, who would be sanctioning hits on investigators in other countries? CIA on Trump's orders? I'd like an investigation into that. There will be investigations. Kyra, yep, Michael is with us today. He sends his best to you and Mr. Texas. Good to see you here, Michael. How's Richard doing, Andrew? How's he doing? Is he getting better? Has he gotten out of the hospital? David, Paxton ain't no Rick Perry, but where you can get reelected by keeping your mouth shut and having good hair. I'll tell you. Alan Thompson, Texas Paul, saw the salamander lizard make a cameo in your shirt. That lizard was so damn popular recently. Love you, brother. Vote early, folks. Make it harder to cheat. Let's have a blowout the vote blue. Amen. Amen. I gotta make friends with that lizard. That lizard was so damn. I made a video and I had a column behind me and the lizard climbing up the column. People raved about. I got to make friends with that lizard. I do. He's got to show up in more videos. Steve Piff, 2 Texas Democrats. I got to keep the cat away from him is what I need to do. 2 Texas Democrats voted for NDA with Section 214 included, and I have to vote for one of them. Crap. Yep. Melissa Grubb, as Texas Paul always says, people don't vote to say thank you. They vote to say fuck you. Amen. Let's get back to work. Let's talk about Kenny Boy. I want to introduce you to a little company you never heard of. It's called WatchGuard Technologies. WatchGuard Technologies started out, it was a little Seattle software company called Seattle Software Labs. There you go. Couldn't read it. Spilled coffee on my Seattle Software Labs is what it was called when it started. It changed its name. Founded in 1996, 1997. It changed its name to WatchGuard. And they decided they wanted to make surveillance software. Stick with me. We're going somewhere with this. And they tried. Then in 2003, 3 Texas legislatures. It was started by a guy by the name of Christopher Slatt and Steve Moore. This is, you have to remember, a quarter century ago, we didn't have body cams. We didn't have car cameras. We were trying to get cameras in the cars at the time. Body cam footage was just a dream at that point. Right? Well, WatchGuard decided they wanted to make car cameras. And 3 Republican Texas congressmen decided to invest in WatchGuard in 2003. Kenny Cockeye Paxton. And remember, he wasn't attorney general at the time. This is 2003. Byron Cook, he was making a few $1,000s. I think it's, $17,000 a year, something like that. They get paid. Kenny Paxton comes up with a $300,000 investment out of his own pocket, making that shit money. How? We don't know. He wasn't even making the $150K a year he made as attorney general at this point, but he scrapes together $300K to invest in WatchGuard. Another Republican named by the name of Byron Cook and another one by the name of Bob Griggs invested in that little company, WatchGuard. Well, and Ken Paxton goes on to become an attorney general in 2006. The Department of Public Safety decides it needs cameras in all of its vehicles. Now, did they go with the leading company that put together systems to, they had an advanced system that coordinated both body cams. They just seamlessly integrate together. When the officer gets out of the car, his body cam takes over. These systems integrate and work together. A company by the name of Axon was already way ahead on this technology. And they are much larger even today. They're like 12 times the size of WatchGuard. But in 2006, the Department of Public Safety here in Texas, our state troopers, decides to outfit its vehicles with cameras. Guess which company they decided to go with? Yeah, they went with WatchGuard, the company that Ken Paxton was invested in. Then Houston PD invested in WatchGuard. And I don't know if you know how it works in these law enforcement communities. When a big city police department gets technology, well, all the little towns, they want to emulate it. They got this wannabe syndrome. They want to look like a man. They do. And then all of a sudden, department after department here in Texas started buying WatchGuard cameras. Houston PD deployed them, DPS deployed them, and all of a sudden you got Gregg County Sheriff's Department, the El Paso Police Department, and all the way down to like Houston Independent School District police departments. Everybody started buying these WatchGuard cameras. Now, Axon, they didn't stop doing business. San Antonio PD, they went with a fully integrated Axon system. Austin, Texas went with a fully integrated Axon system. But WatchGuard put a big enough dent in the business here that Motorola decided, we just got to buy them out. We've got to stop this shit. We've got to buy them out. And if you don't know, Motorola is the vendor that outfits your police vehicles. All of the radio communications, they bring in the vehicles and they outfit them. They take a vehicle and they turn it into a police vehicle. They're the vendor that does the lion's share of that. They ended up buying WatchGuard, which made Ken Paxton millions of dollars off that $300,000 investment that nobody knows where he got the 300 grand to begin with. Again, one of the greatest investors of all time, or there's something fucking shady going on. There's something fucking shady going on. You know, you got like McKinney, Texas here, buying WatchGuard. See, I highlighted it here. Consider, discuss, act on resolution authorizing the purchase of 57 WatchGuard in-car camera systems and 15 CopView wearable cameras. Yeah. Now, keep in mind, there is a competitor. There is a competitor that is massively larger, that has a system that is much more advanced and integrated. But no, not only are they buying them here in Texas, but you go to other red states and all of a sudden their state police are buying them. Louisiana State Police all of a sudden starts buying WatchGuard. Ohio starts buying WatchGuard. Minnesota, I know you're going to say Minnesota's a blue state. What are you talking about, Paul? Not when Tim Pawlenty was governor. Not when Tim Pawlenty was governor when this contract was handed out. Georgia, red state, Republican red state after red state after red state started buying WatchGuard instead of the Axon systems. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that Ken Paxton entered office in 2003 with a total of $174,000 in assets to his name? Now he has just a real estate portfolio that's valued in excess of $15 million. He made millions off a $300,000 investment in a little company called WatchGuard that all of a sudden started getting business all over the freaking place where there were Republicans. Why do you think this is happening? This is the way my state has been run for a quarter century. And these Republicans have all gotten filthy rich. And your average Texan has gotten poorer. Our schools, our highways used to be the envy of the nation. When the Republicans took over, the Texas highway system was the best highway system in the country. It is shit now. A quarter century later, our highways suck. Our schools. We were one of the best education systems in the country, and we were rising up the list. People were talking about the University of Texas in kind of like Ivy League status. People were talking about Texas A&M University like it might be a Western MIT. That's over. We have some of the worst rated schools in the country now. Quarter century of Republican rule. The average Texan, if you take away the broligarchs, I've told you over and over again, people, do you really believe that Elon Musk lives in a shack in Boca Chica, Texas? Do you believe that Elon Musk really lives in a shack in Boca Chica, Texas? Because that's his declared address, so he pays no state income tax in other states because he declares himself a Texas resident, and we have no income tax. None. The only taxes he pays are sales taxes on anything he purchases retail here, which he's never fucking here. He is rarely in the state of Texas because it's hot. He's still living the high life, out in California with his tech buddies and out on the East Coast in New York and traveling the world in his yachts. All that shit he's still doing. You've seen the pictures of him on the back of the yacht that he claims he doesn't own. All that shit. You've seen it over and over and over and over again. My state is used as a fucking tax dodge. If you take those people, you scrape that shit off the top and you look at what's left in Texas, we are poorer today than we were when the Republicans took over. By every measure. But the Republicans are much richer. Much richer. So let's start asking, how did Ken Cockeye Paxton come up with $300,000? 1 second. I'll give you the exact figure. I don't remember the exact figure. State legislator in Texas is paid $7,200 a year and $221 a day in per diem. How did he come up with $300,000 in spare change to invest in a little known Seattle software company that suddenly starts getting massive government contracts across the state of Texas and then in other Republican states? How did he come up with that? How did he come up with the money making $150,000 a year as attorney general? Did he come up with the money to buy millions of dollars in Utah luxury condos at a discount? Why did he get the discount? I mean, this is after you're talking about the fact that, yes, he is traveling around the luxury vacations with this person, whoever while he's still married to Angela Paxton. Luxury vacations out there with his whatever the fuck you want to call her, who I understand is being reported is also still married. Family values and all. Before you get to the fact that, Mr. Voter registration is voting fucking illegally. Where did the money come from? And why is Texas Paul the one that is showing you this? I'm a commentator. I am not a journalist. You'll notice nothing I showed you about this was fucking news stories. That's not what I do. I am not a journalist. I'm a commentator. Why are there not massive breaking stories questioning where Ken Paxton's money is coming from? How is he investing in this stuff? Why is he getting these sweetheart deals? And how does he end up being the luckiest? I mean, making Warren Buffett look like a fucking amateur in the returns he's getting on his investment. He made millions off a $300,000 investment. But yeah, James Tallarico's got a smoking hot girlfriend that also happens to be vegetarian. Oh my God. We've got news stories about that shit that I showed you here. James Tallarico has a smoking hot girlfriend, and she's a vegetarian. Show me the news article that tells you about California Cockeye Paxton. Yeah, born in California, raised in California. Where are you, news media? Oh, yeah, you picked a fucking side, and we know it. We fucking know it. We fucking know who you are. We know what the fuck you are, and you can go fuck yourself. Let me catch up. Sid Delanomac. Call me Sid. Mug idea. No tank guzzling allowed. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. Mr. Knudsen. I got a new mug out, by the way. Mr. Knudsen. In 1997, we had 56K modems and Ultima Online. Yep. Skeet Sayer, 2018. If you do a flock camera search in the Niagara region, you will see no cameras on the Canadian side, then at least 20 on the U.S. side. Real police state. Yep. Absolutely. Axon, their cameras integrate with the flock system. Yet you still have this Republican police state buying WatchGuard. Yeah. Skeet Sayer, 80. Tell me there ain't something shady there. Tell me there isn't something shady there. 80% of all Americans are against data centers. Most of them are in red states. Even Utah and Iowa are in play for us now. Yep. Mr. Knudsen, indirect kickbacks to the buyer. ET, good old boy system used to be in the South that a stint as sheriff prosecutor would set you up for life. Massaging people get involved. Messaging people get involved. Amen. Emory. And we also have the worst uninsured rate in the nation, also because of the GOP and the refusal to expand Medicaid. Yep. We went from being, did you know that Texas used to be ground zero for biomedical research? Yeah. We did. We used to be ground zero for biomedical research. That's over. That's over. San Antonio had a massive, and Houston, both of them had massive centers for biomedical research. Gone. Now we have, so we're competing for the most uninsured state. And the most people that believe conspiracy theories about vaccines. Dottie Farias, you do a great investigator. Thank you. Appreciate you. Asborn Knudsen, should not the local anti-corruption police looking into Ken and his self-dealing? This is Texas, man. Republicans run Texas. What do you think? They won't even look in the last thing that I'm going to talk about. That's a good segue. Put a pin in that. Dottie Farias, thank you for supporting the show. I appreciate you. I do. Al Lewis, thank you for supporting. D Niner fan, good to see you. Thank you for supporting the show. Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, folks. What did we hear all week last week about Iran? What did we hear all week last week about Iran? Oh man, it's back on. It's back on. We heard Iran has rejected our peace deal. Just a little reminder. Iran has rejected our peace offerings. Yeah, it's on, man. Oh my God, the Houthis have been involved. It's expanded into the Red Sea. They're blowing up tankers. Oh my God, they're attacking Saudi oil facilities all last week, right? I mean, y'all remember. I mean, we talked about it in the show. Well, the NYMEX, the New York Mercantile Exchange, which is where oil futures are traded, closes Friday at 4:00 for the weekend. What happened to the news articles about Iran after 4:00 on Friday? What announcements were made? This is from 3 hours ago. Trump holds off on major escalation against Iran as advisors raise concerns. Peace talks. They're talking about peace. Story after story after story. You motherfuckers in the media, we see you. We know what you did. Why? Why all evening Friday, all day Saturday, all morning Sunday, where there'll be articles that talk about the peace in Iran that doesn't fucking exist? Why? Because the New York Mercantile Exchange opens for trading again at 6:00 on Sunday. $6 p.m. on Sunday, it opens. And what's going to happen to oil prices that are now $90 a barrel, right at $90 a barrel for West Texas Intermediate crude, $100 a barrel for Brent? What's going to happen to those oil prices? They're going to plunge. All right, put a pin in that. Just to remind everybody what shorting is. It doesn't matter if it's stocks. It doesn't matter if it's oil futures. It works the same way. You've heard of shorting before, or taking a short position. BlackRock, Vanguard, Charles Schwab. It does not matter where you are an investor. If you're a major investor, you have access to a brokerage service that will stake out a short position for you. Now, this won't take more than a minute. Stick with me. Don't let your eyes glaze over. Let me explain how this works. If you're Warren Buffett, or you're just a long-term investor, you're a 401k advisor, you don't play the ups and downs of the market. You don't. You're a long-term investor. So you buy an oil future or you buy a stock. We'll make it easy. We'll just say a stock. You buy a stock and you intend to hold it for years. You can make money on that stock beyond just the value increase of that stock. Berkshire Hathaway makes boatloads of money by lending their stock out. They're stock lenders. What does that mean? It means you work with a brokerage service and they can take your stock and they can loan it to someone who wants to stake out a short position, that wants to be a short-term investor, that wants to try to time the dips and the peaks of investing. And those shorters will borrow that stock. Now, to you, the person that's the long-term investor, you get paid a fee. You get paid a fee, right? For them to borrow your stock. So not only are you going to make the long-term investments, but along the way, you're going to make fees that people are going to pay you to borrow this stock. You're going to make more money that way, right? The person that borrows the stock has to pay a fee to the brokerage, and there's a periodic time to it. They're claiming, say that you're a government official that happens to know a peace announcement is going to come out. You go and you borrow oil futures. Now, you have to pay a fee over time, and we'll get to that later. But you pay your fee, you borrow those oil futures, you sell them on Thursday. You sell them on Thursday. You take all of that money that you garnered from that sale. Then on Friday and Saturday and Sunday morning, when the administration and the complicit media talks about this bullshit, non-existent peace deal for 3 days, 2.5 days, the oil market plunges. Now remember, you've got cash now. You sold the futures, you've got cash. You have to go back into the market, buy those futures back, and take them and give them back to the person you borrowed them from. The same number. But here's the kicker. The difference between where you sold and where you bought, all that money you keep in your pocket. That is what a shorter is. It just happened right in front. It's been happening weekly. Thursday evening, Friday morning, peace breaks out in Iran. All week, it's been war. We've got to escalate. Tankers are on fire. But come Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning, good talks are happening. Iran is just begging for a deal. We're in good talks. Sunday, price of oil plunges. The shorters buy back their positions, give them back, pocket the money. And it's happening over and fucking over and fucking over again. And these motherfuckers are killing American soldiers. These motherfuckers have spent $100 billion of our treasure on this fucking war. People keep asking me, why would he do this for Netanyahu? This is stupid. They're going to get plowed under. The people are going to just, they hate this word that they don't fucking care. They're making a fortune. Billions of dollars they're making. And people are like, Trump's going to try to stay in. No, he's not. He knows he's not. That's just talk. He's going to take the money and fucking run. And the Republicans are trying to make it illegal for us to investigate this. Yeah. Trump just got slapped down because he tried to do it, via executive order, saying the IRS can't look at me. They can't look at my family. No, sirree, can't do that. The Republicans are going to try to put that into fucking law. Folks, you have to elect Democrats in the midterm. The election is just weeks away. There can be no more stupid shit talked about or entertained or put up with. This is happening in front of you. Mark my words. In 2 weeks, it will happen again. Oh, Iran, it's awful. We're going to invade. We're going to put boots on the ground. Oh my God, the oil infrastructure is being destroyed. Look at what's happened. Meanwhile, you're getting fucked at the gas pump. Meanwhile, the problem about the actual oil shortages are not being dealt with. And they don't care. They don't care. They know they were going to get hosed in the midterms. They know that happens to every administration. They're making bank on the way out the door. If you want it investigated, if you want them to have to pay a price for doing this to you at the grocery store, for doing this to you, if you want to make the Republicans responsible for what they're doing to you, the next time you go buy hamburger, I want you to think about that question. Do you want the investigations? Then you have to elect fucking Democrats. It's the only way you get them. Mike Johnson sent everybody home. They don't want to talk about it. They're running from cameras. They are overtly corrupt people, and they're trying to make it illegal to investigate them. They're trying to take women's right to vote away. They're trying to take women's right to divorce away. They're trying to take women's financial independence away. And if you don't do your job, if you don't show up, if you don't go to the trouble of verifying your voter registration, if you don't go to the trouble of tamping down the anti-Democrat bullshit, filling the space with anti-Republican bullshit, it's going to happen. The Republicans will take it as permission. They will take it as a sign that this is what the people want. We have pulled the wool over their eyes yet again. Yeah, buddy, let's make some more money. Let's hurt some more people to keep our base happy. This time, women, it will be you again. Pay fucking attention. This is really happening. I keep showing you where it's really happening. Please act accordingly. Wendy Bauman. I live in a manufactured home community owned by a Texan and pulls $1,600 in a lot rent every month and raised it $20 per month every year. Go figure. Yeah, Wendy, I'm telling you. They're making bank right now. Mr. Knutson, my last question about self-dealing by Paxton was sarcastic. None is going to look for cancer when the cancer is in charge. Vote blue in cancer. Amen, brother. Amen. Amen. Skeet's there. AI bubble is going to make them all realize how foolish they are. Private equity is the worst gift from Reagan. They don't care. They know this ride is coming to an end. They can read polls. They can read polls. They can. It is the dumbest fucking among them are the only ones that are still hanging on. It is. Right now, what we have to be afraid of are the people that are so greedy and selfish on our side that they're willing to sow division on our side so that they can continue to make bank, so they can continue to get clicks. That's really happening. We have to end that. Wisconsin this week, gas prices $3.59 to $3.99, back to $3.79. Yeah, they're soaking you and they know it. Jordan Miller. Jordan, thank you again for that jersey, man. I wore it the other day to my guitar lesson on Saturday. I got so many compliments on it, brother. Jordan, thank you. I'm convinced the Iran war is happening the exact way the Trump crime family planned it. I think they fell ass backwards into this, Jordan. I do. I think they fell ass backwards into this. They really thought they were in political trouble. They thought it was going to be a distraction. They thought it was going to be quick and easy. They thought Trump was going to be a hero, and they were going to continue to do their crypto grifts and other things. This, they fell ass backwards into, and they can't help themselves. They cannot help themselves. Veggie Owl Girl. This peace talks over the weekend and war the other times has been going on since the beginning. Yeah, it has. Why are people still falling for it? The media. The media chose a side. The media chose a fucking side. Weird Idaho liberal, Ukrainian ghost chili peppers, sprinkle some on some wild berries and make it into an inferno. They started it. Slava Ukraini. Man, you want to see something? If you get discouraged, go watch Ukrainian drone footage. I am telling you, some of it's hard to watch. I watched a drone go through barricades. That drone operator he flew a drone this big through a trench this big that had barricades, flew it over barricades, under barricades, and chased a dude down in that trench. Yeah, there is amazing footage that'll just blow your damn mind. If you need a distraction, just a recommendation. ET, and no one knows the number of people injured by all of this, both service people and workers at the bases. What is stopping you from getting active? They slapped our military in the face. All of those soldiers killed and injured in Jordan, they removed them from the casualties lists. They removed them because Trump declared peace during that time. He said there was peace, so they don't count. Can you believe that shit? You better believe it. They just did it. Scott Olson, welcome, brother. Welcome. Skeets there. There's no one in the administration that has enough brain cells to see what they are doing, just like how Putin thinks he can win in Ukraine because they tell him they are winning. Yeah. These are not brilliant people. They are not. Giddy Roadrunner, running behind. Being greedy and willing to grift and steal doesn't mean you're smart. It doesn't mean you're smart. Running Behind Alive just got to the Paxton part, went to the Texas Ethics Commission page and read the mission. Go check that out. Read it carefully and notice what it doesn't say. Yep. Republicans are crooked as fuck, man. Oregon Wine Lady, you mean the $15 burger, only fast food burger? Yep. I did. I went out yesterday and I paid $13 for a hamburger. A hamburger that used to cost me $8. We don't go out very much anymore. We don't. In fact, we're talking about going to maybe see a movie this afternoon. And we're not doing dinner. We're eating here before we go. It's tight, man. It's not just you. It's everybody. It is tight. Max Roy, thank you for being here. Thank you, bro. Alan Thompson, Next Star Media Group Incorporated, corrupt as fuck. Yep. Sinclair, all of them. They chose a side. Wendy Bauman, 1.6 million per month. Yep. No. Veggie Algor. Hey, Texas Paul, are they going to take my veterans benefits? I have a bank account and a credit card, my SSDI. I'm going to tell you the truth. They're going to try. If we don't elect Democrats, they are going to, because they're telling you. I'm not telling you this shit. They're telling you this shit. Mike Johnson just put a statement out. They think by calling it entitlements that word somehow still works because the dumbest among us hear the word entitled and consider that negative. So they're fighting a negative, which is a good thing. Mike Johnson just said it again. When they get back next year in January, they're going after it. They already put in the big ugly bill. They're shutting down Social Security offices, and they're already going after it. Mike Johnson has told you out of his own mouth, unequivocally, they come back in January, they're going after it. It's all on the table. And they will take it as permission if we don't blow them out. You need to tell everybody you know that has got as much white hair as I do about this. I mean, here, let me see if I can. If I can find, I want to find a news article. Look at the way they're wording this. Look at the way they're wording this in all these news articles. It is exactly what I told you. But look at the headlines. Social Security's looming insolvency sparks alarm in Congress. They can't afford you. I told you they can afford war, but they're going to tell you they can't afford you. Healthcare fight returns in January with affordability at the center. They're going to cut your Medicare. They're going to cut your Medicaid. They're going to tell you we can't afford it. Listen to that. That word's going to come up a lot. Afford. Healthcare fight returns in January with affordability at the center. Democrats are wary of GOP promise to negotiate healthcare after end of shutdown. House passes. This is going back to December, November. This is old stuff now. There aren't even the articles out there talking about it. Let me see if I can find it on social media for you real quick before we go. This is them talking about how they're going to roll back press freedoms in January if they win.
Caucus, the commie caucus. But the reality is that the Communist Caucus, the commie caucus is coming to Congress. And it's going to be a rude awakening if we don't all pay attention. And that includes the press. Think about what's happened in those countries where they've had socialism and communism. The press is the first one to go. When they finally consolidate that power, the media is the first one to go, and it is a state-run media. So it's incumbent upon all of us to get the truth out there about the threats that we are facing as a country with these radical people that want to bring this horrific ideology here.
One second. Let me see if I can find that a couple of videos for you so that you don't have to take my word for it. I apologize for the quiet. I apologize for the dead air. Won't take me but a second. I won't keep you waiting. I'll find it for you in the next show. I'll find it for you in the next show. It's out there. The video's out there. I've actually seen it myself, but he's actually came out and said January when they come back after the election. Yep. We're going to be going after entitlements. That's your Social Security. That's the stuff you're entitled to because you paid for them. If we don't win, they're going to go balls to the wall. Connie, thanks for supporting the show. Thank you. They're telling you they're going to cut these things. They're telling you with their own mouth. Millennial David, I'm trying my best to relay your info. I'm concerned not only about our economy, but the Republicans will blame us for not having fast solutions for depression. Hello. Of course they are. They're never going to say, oh, we did this. Sorry. No, they're going to say, oh, the Democrats did this. Democrats spent money studying frog bellies in Japan. Oh, we just happened to pull a cancer cure out of that? Well, they won't tell you that part. Asbjorn Knutson, I bet in Ukraine they don't care if drone operator has low testosterone. Would you if you're defending your homeland from attack? And they're so disgusting. Jordan B. Miller, when you downgrade our service members from wartime death to peaceful death, you don't care about our service members. You know you don't. You don't. ET, messaging people affordability instead of culture wars, Citizens United instead of APAC. Are you ready to get involved? When we do the work, it gets done. Amen, brother. Hulanani D, aloha. My whole household already returned our primary ballots in the Dropbox in Hawaii. Voting blue, having to ship everything into our state. We're being killed on all fronts: gas, food, everything. I bet it is really expensive in Hawaii right now. Always expensive, but I bet it's even worse now. Skeet said Canada was a socialist country. That is why you don't have to pay to have a baby, but the right wing has messed us up too. Yeah, they're trying to. They're trying to make you like us, man. Don't let them. I want to say thank you. I really do. The Rockin' Goat coffee, I got it. This stuff is really good. Oh, it smells good. Oh, yeah, it smells good. Love that it's resealable. Oh, it smells so good. It is so good. That is so cool, man. That is so cool. That is actually a coffee company. One second. Y'all remember that song Kryptonite from Three Doors Down? The drummer, his name's Greg Upchurch, has started a coffee company. And it's damn good coffee. It is. If you get a chance to try some, you should try it. It's called Greg's Rockin' Goat Coffee. One of y'all were so kind to send it to me. I don't know if I haven't gotten permission to use your name. If you don't mind, I'll be glad to throw your name out there. Some people just don't like to be called out. But yeah, it's actually really good. It's from the drummer from Three Doors Down. Everybody's got to have a side gig. Am I right? Am I right? It is really, thank you. You are so freaking generous. Y'all keep me in the best coffee. Y'all really do. Y'all are amazing. Well, folks, I hope that you found what we talked about useful. I hope that you've been able to get motivated. I hope that you're ready to get out there and get it done. We're weeks away from this next election. I hope you're finding what I'm doing useful. And again, I am super grateful for all the support. We've got a new mug out. You got to check it out. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. On that note, enjoy some Texas cities at night.